Good morning, televiewers, and welcome to the last edition of The Brief live on My Media Prime Television. On today's edition of the program, we are focusing on the international conference that is holding in Toronto, Canada, where Cameroonians having roots from the northwest and southwest regions of the country are meeting in Canada to seek a peaceful way out of the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. We shall equally tell you about the lawyers defending a pregnant woman who was arrested on the basis that she was a former girlfriend to General No Pity. We are told that the lawyers are saying that they will not give up despite threats and the bullying coming from judges at the Boya High Court. Thank you for tuning. Let's go find out what the French newspapers gather for us this morning with Gwladys Bomotonguina. Bonjour Gwladys.
Bonjour Lasha et bonjour à vous, chers téléspectateurs. Alors, merci de nous retrouver pour cette dernière édition de Deux Briefs. Nous commençons ce matin avec le journal Le Jour qui parle d'une alerte à la bombe panique à Douala. Le quartier Bonandio a été bloqué pendant un bout de temps par les forces de défense et de sécurité. Les détails sont en page 5 de ce journal. En page 3, le journal Le Jour nous parle de la répression des militants du MRC qui se poursuit, toujours pour revenir sur l'état de santé d'un des leurs. Nous continuons ce matin avec Mutation qui parle de la Cocane 2021 au régime sec. À 2 mois de la compétition, les commissions du comité local d'organisation de la Coupe d'Afrique des Nations sont toujours en attente du budget pour se déployer. Les détails sont en page 15 de ce journal. Terminons ce matin avec la Nouvelle Expression qui nous parle de la commémoration du 29 octobre 1959, un discours prophétique pour le Cameroun. Les détails sont en page 5 et 7 de ce journal. En page 2, le journal revient sur l'attentat terroriste alerte à Douala. En page 4, le journal nous parle de l'assassinat manqué d'un maire dans la région de l'Est. C'était tout pour votre revue de presse en langue française. Place à la découverte de ces urnes en langue anglaise avec toi, Lasha.
Thank you, Gwladys. Let's kickstart with the Lone English Daily, The Guardian Post. The Guardian Post newspaper is focusing this morning on the International Forum to seek solutions to the Anglophone crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. The paper says that the International Forum on Anglophone crisis begins today in Toronto, Canada. Participants at the high-level conference constitute representatives of armed separatist groups, civil society, religious leaders, and representatives of some foreign governments, as we are told by the said newspaper. The newspaper is also reporting on the military that has constructed and handed over Anglophone section of the Yaoundé Catholic School in Yaoundé. The school, or the 3-story building, was constructed by the Engineering Corps of Cameroon's Defense Forces that was handed yesterday in Yaoundé to the Archbishop of the Metropolitan Archdiocese of Yaoundé. Let's talk about Way Village in in Menchum Division of the Northwest region of the country. Way Fund leads others to pay school fees of all learners in his fondom. The traditional ruler of Way Village, a locality in Menchum Division of the Northwest region of Cameroon, has led a group of non-governmental organizations to offer support to students and pupils in his fondom Fonji the Fourth, in collaboration with the Open Society Initiative for West Africa, an international NGO, and Women in Alternative Action. Cameroon offered the huge financial and material support to primary and secondary schools in Way Village during a recent ceremony in that area. We stay with the Guardian Post newspaper to talk about the Northwest and Southwest reconstruction. We are told that Kumba beneficiaries auctioning donated items in markets, the items that were donated to them by the government of Cameroon in the ongoing process of reconstructing the conflict-hit regions of the country. They are now selling those or auctioning those materials that were given to them by the government of Cameroon to build their homes, as we are told. On to municipal updates. Municipal updates is also interested in the quest for peace in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. Regional councillors petition UN Secretary General, as we are told. We end with emergence. Emergence is focusing on the decision of the Fako High Court. Lawyers of detained pregnant woman vow to continue with case despite threats coming from judges at the High Court in Buea. Thank you for watching, televiewers. We are back in the studio this morning. We are receiving two guests. One is the National Communications Secretary to the Popular Action Party, Jenny Evis, who is joining us from Yaoundé. And the second guest, of course, is the National President of the Way Development or Youth, ESU Development, Development Organization. He is joining us in the studio this morning to tell us about an upcoming event, as we'll be hearing more in this edition of the program. Let's first of all go to Yaoundé and meet Jenny Evis, who is already with us. Good morning, Evis, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Mr. Lasha Kingsley. Good morning to your co-panelist and your co-presenter in the studio, and to all viewers of my Media Prime.
Let's begin with the Guardian Post, which is telling us this morning that there is an international forum to seek lasting solutions to the ongoing conflict in the two English-speaking regions of the country. Over 100 participants having roots from the northwest and southwest regions are converging on Toronto, Canada, to find a peaceful way of ending the 5-year-old long conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Are you hopeful this time around?
Well, Mr. Lasha, well, it's good to remain optimistic. You know, we have all been clamoring for a lasting solution. We have all been clamoring for dialogue, and all these are things that must one day have to begin in one way or the other, and it must begin from somewhere. So if people are already converging on Toronto to start thinking positively as to how this war can be curbed, then I want to think it is an initiative and something to encourage. All I can say with respect to that is the people who are converging on Toronto should be level-headed. They should keep emotions aside. They should try to act with some degree of wisdom and bear the suffering of our people in mind as they sit to discuss. And I will also simply wish that when we talk about people converging in Toronto and with some foreign governments present as we hear, I also hope that all the parties concerning the nation, that is even the government bench of Cameroon, I want to hope that they too be represented there, because it would rather be unfortunate if some people sit and talk and others are not there, and then maybe tomorrow we hear of people telling others they don't know with whom they should discuss.
The good news is that we are having representatives of separatist groups at the set forum, from what we are reading in the Guardian Post newspaper.
That is why I say it is something to encourage. It's a good move. If we have people from the separatist camp who are there, that's why I say it is important that Yaoundé also be represented, so that the talks begin from there, and then we see how it moves on. Because it will not also be very, very good if people from one camp sit and decide when the others, or maybe start proposing ideas when the others are not there. So, like I say, it is an initiative to encourage. And I just pray, like I say, it is a wish, and I want to think that it is a wish of many Cameroonians, of all Cameroonians, that every person who is supposed to maybe feature in this gathering be there present. And I'm talking, of course, if the separatists are there, let the government of this country also be represented, because those are the two main persons that let me say, are tying us down as far as getting solutions to the crisis is concerned.
Okay, let's take you to Buea now to talk about this bullying and threats coming from judges at the Buea High Court in relation to the arrest and detention of a pregnant woman that is believed to be having links with dreaded General No Pity.
Well, Mr. Lasha, you know the violation of human rights in our country is nothing new to Cameroonians again. And of course, with respect to the crisis in the former British Southern Cameroon, we all know how much our people from that part of the country have been suffering. But I would rather say it's unfortunate that they should detain a woman who is pregnant simply because she was an ex-girlfriend to General No Pity. No Pity is not a child, he's not a minor. He's an, even if the woman were his wife, No Pity is an independent person who takes his decisions surely without necessarily consulting this woman, and the woman may not even have an idea as to where the man is or what he does. So by having to arrest her just by virtue of the fact that she had once had a relationship with a man, I think it is totally out of place for me, and it is something to decry. And of course, like we say, a woman who is pregnant to that matter, it just simply tells and reconfirms what we have been saying and decrying about the judiciary in our country. They don't have respect for any person, and to some extent they have taken this issue of the crisis, and they are torturing so many innocent souls in the whole process.
If they have their facts as per probably police investigation that she was still collaborating with No Pity, don't you think that her detention is okay as at now until investigation completes?
If there is proof that she was collaborating, I don't understand what you mean by collaboration and without being a legal mind. You see, if we talk about collaboration in the sense of maybe communicating with the man and they say she was an ex-girlfriend, if they communicate to talk love, that is something else. But if it is collaboration in the sense of maybe fueling the conflict, that is another thing. But now, as of now, they don't yet have proof against this woman. It means that they know where she lives. They could equally judge her or maybe convoke her to the police stations and hear her out. Why she is a free woman? Why should she be kept under detention when they don't yet have any concrete proof as to whether she actually collaborates in the line of fueling the crisis or not? So I still say it is not the right step to take. And without being a legal mind, like I say, I'm just trying to say it here the way I see it as a layman. The woman, even if she collaborates with them with No Pity as of now, I don't think that they have concrete proof as of now that either she collaborates in fueling the crisis or not. But if there had been a love relationship between the two, the man could still call the woman to discuss love. It doesn't necessarily make the woman a criminal. Okay. So I want to think the woman should be free, and then maybe convened or convoked when it is necessary, they hear her out and let her go back to her house. Okay. When maybe they have evidence that truly she is involved in maybe sponsoring or fueling the crisis, in that case it becomes something else.
Okay, Evis, before you leave us, this one last question. We are told by the Guardian Post newspaper that citizens in Kumba, chief town of Meme Division, they are auctioning materials that were donated to them by the government of Cameroon in the ongoing reconstruction process of the war-ravaged regions of the country. Is this bad news to the reconstruction plan?
I don't even think that the reconstruction ever started in the first place. I don't know.
No. Materials have been given. Materials have been given, and people are selling. People are selling the materials. They have started.
Mr. Lasha, if you are still in active war and you are giving someone material to construct a house that will be burned the next minute, how does it help the person? If people have gotten material to build houses and they prefer to auction and keep the money, then you understand that building as of now is not a feasible something. Why? The war is still ongoing, and that's why we are saying that we rather encourage maybe the move in Toronto as of now. Let people sit down and talk. Maybe they can decide now, both parties, to calm down the war, and then in that case the reconstruction could maybe start. And it reminds me of one thing that the papers equally say, Mr. Lasha, when they talk about regional councillors petitioning the Secretary General of the UN maybe to arrest people and send back into the country. I just want to hope that what the regional councillors are doing is not a reflection of their regime's position. Because if that is what the regime thinks, that they can arrest all those who are in Europe and bring back into the country, I wonder if that would be a solution to stopping the crisis, because there are people back there in the British Southern Cameroon today with arms who no longer even take instructions from Europe. They now act on their own account. So the arresting people to bring back here will not even solve the problem as of now. So I think the first thing to do is people should talk. Maybe they call for a ceasefire. When there is calm, people cannot construct, or you cannot offer them their building material. You cannot give someone material for construction when the person is in the bush. Where does he construct in the bush? Or when he knows that he will build a house there and not live in, or he will build a house and it is burned the very next minute. I don't think that is the right step to take. We are trying to take the fifth step even before starting the first.
Thank you so much, Mbane Evis. You are the National Communications Secretary to the PAP political party. Thank you for taking our time this morning to talk to us from the nation's political capital. It was a pleasure having you, sir.
It's been a pleasure. It's a pleasure, Mr. Lasha. Thank you very much.
All right, televiewers, we are back in the studio and we are receiving Mfang Gideon, who is the national president of ASU Youth and Development Organization. Welcome, sir. You are here to talk about an upcoming event in your village.
Thank you, Mr. Lasha. The ISU Youth Development Association is a wing to the ISU Cultural and Development Association, ECODA. ECODA is the main development association in our community, in ISU. Me coming here today is that we are having an installation of our newly elected national executive members of the ISU Youth Development Association here in Douala. The preparations started far back 2 weeks, and we are just a day to the occasion, which is tomorrow, the 30th of October 2021. We are expecting to receive the branches from the forest zone and littoral. For the moment, the ISU Youth Development Association is out for development.
Yes. Before I come in, you know, you're coming from a conflict-hit region, and before now, your division of origin was very peaceful. Recently, we had some kind of, you know, attacks that came from other tribes. So just to find out from you, how do you guys intend to bring back development into the village when we are having an ongoing conflict? How will you execute the projects you will be planning or you'll be meeting to discuss in Douala, in the days ahead?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Lasha Kingsley. Since the war started about 5 years as we speak now, development has actually come to a standstill in our community. To me, I believe that the crises are there, and the government is doing its best to solve it. In the midst of crisis, people are eating. In the midst of crisis, people are doing little things. And in the midst of crisis too, the ISU Youth Development Association has seen that the hospital, which was down, it was hosting the military, and they left the hospital about, say, 6 months today. And we, the youth, we seen that it is difficult for our mothers to leave ISU and go to womb for health needs. So we have decided to upgrade the hospital to have a fundraising tomorrow. That in the fundraising we will have some funds that we will use in buying hospital equipment. We have people who are based in the village. We must not go there now.
Okay.
Yes. We must not go there.
People who are familiar with the situation and they know how they operate.
Yes.
All right.
But to be sincere with you, in the heat of this crisis, ISU has a relative calm. It is now to come into ISU, that is the problem. But when you are in ISU, at least there is relative calm. I'm not saying that there is no war in ISU, no. There is just relative calm. But the people are going about their
So the event
activities.
tomorrow, I just want to find out from you, the event tomorrow, is it like a national convention of the ISU youths who will be coming from all the 10 regions of the country, or is just Douala, Yaoundé, Douala and Yaoundé?
It is a national event. Youths all over will be coming in. Even there are representatives who also come from ISU. They will come from Yaoundé, from Boya, Kumba, Limbe, Tiku, to converge in Douala. Okay. It is a national event.
Okay, so those who have not yet come on board, what are you telling them? How can they join you guys for tomorrow's event? Because many people probably might not have had the information about the meeting. So what are you telling the ISU youths out there?
In summary form, as somebody from ISU or from any community, it is a very good thing to belong. As a youth, we have to start belonging from the base. because as our parents are aging out, we are gradually taking their seats. And if you are not belonging, if you are not among, as you see parents do things, if you are not with them, it means that the moment they will not longer be there, we will not know what to do. So we are begging first and foremost to everybody, all sons and daughters of Isu who are from the ages of 18 and above, that they should join the Isu Youth Development Association. It started since 1992, and today it is still up and well. Any
financial obligations to become a member?
There is no financial obligation to become a member. The issue is, as an Isu person or somebody from Isu, you are free to join. But each year we have a yearly registration of 500 francs. It's just a yearly commitment. It's not actually something.
Okay, and equally there are Isu sons and daughters who residing abroad. Probably we might have left out that part. Yes. Will they also be part of the meeting? Or will you guys do it with a new form of technology so they become part of the meeting tomorrow, so they can equally raise?
Yes, there'll be. Yes, either has a Facebook page, and when we have an event of that magnitude, we stream it on Facebook direct. And they are also aware of the event. Some have already started sending in their own contributions, financial contributions. Some have given pledges, and then some will send material. So they are aware of it.
Gwladys.
Okay, le journal Le Jour nous a parlé d'une alerte à la bombe au quartier Bonanjo à Douala hier, qui a créé la panique dans cet environnement. Au jour d'aujourd'hui, vous avez peut-être eu l'habitude d'écouter les coups de feu et consorts. Comment est-ce que vous vous sentez à écouter, à savoir qu'il y a eu une alerte de bombe à Douala hier?
Yes, on that, our country was a country of peace, but as time goes on, this gradual insecurity is gradually coming in. But our prayer is that we should rally behind the military who are doing a great job. If you see anything suspicious, we are supposed to alert. Because if something happens in Douala, the town will go down.
Ça voudrait dire que d'une manière ou d'une autre, même à Douala, on n'est plus véritablement en sécurité?
We cannot say we are actually secure. It's God who secures us.
Okay.
We are under the security of God. Because if we go into talking about security as man, we will be fooling ourselves.
Okay, I will not let you go without saying something in the Isu language. For those who are watching us now, you can take 1 minute or two to say something to them in the Isu language before we move out of the studio.
Usuni se me tons den rad madem. Mede nyata mankue ambe foasu. Awo wazan iwinia, awo wazan na sito. Tutsu a Douala rang fusu for them. We zang a Douala and the kele Donakagu. Aravala Moshika force Tutsu be Joniata Wunandang. I first yaka booze in a book of war. I'll sue them at them. A young fusu no shiwa Tutsu a Douala and a cotton a year at Tija. I cat Nangamansu. I being a bella. Young, why young gang we source on Ingama, we being a cabala. And inquity in Yaki, Zangaya and her after 10 minutes, Nilong. I want the occasion queen. So long again, Zonko, so them, and I fuck Ufa, and I would not put in fat. But I'm whining a chacamo, Mutoquina, Amadoni, Namdanye. Zonko, them.
And okay, to your brothers in the bushes who are carrying the guns, what is your message to them this morning?
My message to them is for them to be calm and have a peace of mind and come back to the village. Carrying a gun at this point in time would not solve the problem. Let us go force our government to dialogue with those boys who are in the bushes. That is the most important thing. If there is communication, if there is dialogue, meaningful dialogue, I believe that everything will be okay.
So you guys can go back and develop the village and live in harmony as we used to live before the crisis. Thank you for coming, Fang Gideon. You are the national president of ISU Youth Development Association. It was a pleasure having you this morning on the program. We will extend the greetings of my Media Prime to your fellow colleague, the youths of ISU, while back in the village. Thank you to televiewers for taking out time to watch the last edition of the Brief for the Week live on my Media Prime Television. Hopefully we'll be with you on Monday for yet another edition of What the Papers Must Have Said. The program was produced by Christain Tebong. For presentation, we've been Gwladys Bomotonguina and myself, Lasha. Bye-bye.